we don't know how long this will continue. So at this moment, we basically put everything into the storage, and we are waiting to see what's going to happen.
Hold. So the studio project is on hold now.
Yeah, and we will see what will happen with the economy. Unfortunately, America has lost many jobs, so that might affect our industry. We're not something that people must do. We are kind of a luxury.
Two important topics that I want to make sure that we touch on today that maybe are a little bit less positive, but I feel like for fellow instructors or studio owners that are listening or competitive organizers that are listening, these are important conversations to have, especially now. So the first is I introduced you at the beginning as the owners of Dance United Ballroom Academy. I unfortunately saw the announcement that Dance United LH, you were closing as of July 1. Is that a permanent closure or a temporary closure?
Well, at this moment, the situation was really hard with the landlord. They did not help us at all. They requested 100% payment for all the months that we have been closed by government, by law. We had to be
closed by March, I believe.
Yeah, from
15th.
March till July, we basically had to pay $10,000, pretty much almost a month, to the landlords. So as a studio that gives place to all the independent teachers, unfortunately, we did not get any help from government.
Because we don't hire any staff.
Yeah, so we are, there's only 3 studios in Orange County that opens the door to independents, because we were one of them. And when the studio kind of fell on us, because we didn't plan to open a studio, we took over after somebody else. We wanted to create a home for many independents that they were struggling to find a big space. We would celebrate on August 1st, our sixth anniversary. Unfortunately, the life have chosen different path. The good news, we bought a floor from Dance Vision, the Dance Flex floor, which is removable. So the floor, the music machine, the speaker,
we have it all in a storage.
All in a storage. So right now we're waiting for better times. We're just worried that this might not be the best time to start looking for a new space, because we don't know how long this will continue. So at this moment, we basically put everything into the storage, and we are waiting to see what's going to happen.
Hold. So the studio project is on hold now.
Yeah, and we will see what will happen with the economy. Unfortunately, America has lost many jobs, so that might affect our industry. We're not something that people must do. We are kind of a luxury. So we just have to be smart with the next step. Obviously, we would love to have a studio like this that we had before, where we used to organize 3-4 camps a year. We did rounds, we did supervised rounds for students, we did professional rounds. It was really
so it was a place to learn.
Yeah, and we had mainly competitive students. So we never really were there to make money on the studio. It was for us to have a home and for us to have a place.
Anytime to teach, how long we
and we
wanted
could organize stuff we like, the training camps, right?
So,
to just give back to the industry, because we never charged the teachers if they brought 2 students, they already had a camp for free. So we always were thinking, the professionals, we need to take care of them to make sure that they can grow as a teachers. And because of this, the industry is much better. But unfortunately, the landlord, we tried till the end. We were begging them to help us out. They were just no. It was the only answer. They at some point they told us we will have to pay only the operational costs, but then suddenly it has changed that it's still 100%. So unfortunately, our new lease supposed to restart on July 1st, and that's why we
decided not to continue.
Yeah, we just had to say no to this project for now.
Yeah, and I think you made an important point, which a lot of studio owners are feeling right now. The U.S. has offered the PPP, the PUA, there were small business administration loans that were available, but for students or for studios that particularly were catering towards independent contractors and independent instructors, so non-franchised. A lot of us are I-9 independent contractors, right? So the PPP you can't apply for because you don't have W-9 employees. We know that a lot of the SBA loans didn't really go to small businesses, or if they were much, much smaller. So it did kind of unfortunately leave this gap where the studio owners that were paying rent and utilities on spaces that were closed by the government could not get money then from the government to help cover those rents. So hopefully when all of this is said and done and we return to normalcy, we'll be celebrating a grand opening somewhere of the new Dance United studio.
The floor is available.
Right.
Yeah. So if you ever plan to buy a studio, open a studio, one thing that we always thought from beginning, it's to have removable floor. That's the best thing ever that I think we did. It's a little bit more pricey, but you can always take it with you or resell it to someone else if someone else wants to buy it.
And also, we can give you another advice if you are let's say the teacher or the person who planning to open the studio, try to get the building, try to own the building if possible, because you're going to ultimately pay the same amount of money.
Or work with a smaller landlord.
Yeah.
Our company was actually, it's like they have 1 million properties. We're just a little teeny tiny fish in a huge ocean for them. They don't really care for people like us. So if you plan to open a studio, either a family-owned business, something smaller, or if you have any students who can buy a building and lease from them, or buy it by yourself, that's even better. That you have, some equity for the future just in case.
Definitely.
So that's.
Definitely. Yeah. And dance studios, we're not looking for like a little 1,000 square foot space. We tend to want a larger open area. And it's very particular, the kind of space that we're looking for, which also tends to put you in that higher rental market, unfortunately. So I think you're absolutely right. Being able to buy or at least have a personal connection with the person that owns the building, and then make sure that you can remove your mirrors at the end of the day, make sure you can pull up your floor, make sure that the sound system's yours, all of those things, so that if you have to move, you can. On that same note of just kind of how 2020 has turned all of our plans upside down, you are the co-owners of the Royal Ball, which is a fantastic competition. It was unfortunately canceled for 2020. When we look at 2021, which hopefully we'll be back to normal, knock on wood. Are you already starting to have conversations about what changes you're going to make to the way that the event runs for 2021, just in case? Are there going to be extra precautions taken, or are you hoping that if you have the opportunity to run it in 2021, that it'll be just like it was in 2019?
That would be the best. That would be the best wish, because we had an awesome 2019. Yes, with us and David and Natalie Schultz, we own the Royal Ball. So the biggest thing is we actually were one of the first competitions that had to cancel, because it was right when the coronavirus was getting stronger. Slawek was a weekend before, or 2 weeks before, you were still dancing in Las Vegas, right? And then the weekend off, it was already when everything was starting. He was in BYU judging the nationals. Right. So that's when everything was going already, the world went upside down. We first got approved to change the date to reschedule to June. And unfortunately, that day didn't work out either, because the coronavirus is still with us and we're already in towards the end of July. But we were hoping first that this will be over. It will be like 2 months, maybe maximum, and everybody will have a normal life. By May, we already were like, this is not going to happen. David and Natalie were like, no, we can do it. And we were like, with Slawek, much more like, I don't think this will happen. So we had to make announcement that unfortunately we'll have to cancel this year event. We did not even we only cashed few checks that arrived in January and the first half of February. all the other checks that
And instead
arrived.
saying it's not getting.
We were like,
good.
even the people paid, we were like,
So
we're not
we
even
kept
putting this
everything on
money to
hold.
the account because what's the point? We don't even know what's going to happen. In June, we still probably thought, oh my gosh, next year we are going to do amazing. We will add a few other scholarships. We're going to do this and that. And now when we keep looking what's happening on this planet, we are like, oh my gosh, are we going to have our Royal Ball in 2021?
So we started worrying about 2021.
So if the situation will not get much better, but it will, let's say we can run an event. I'm worried if we're going to have a possibility to run our event into ballrooms.
As we usually do.
As we usually do. We have a separate ballroom for the kids and separate ballroom for the pro-am. So we might do everything in one ballroom because like I said before, I don't know what will happen with our economy. I don't know if all the people that they are on a kind of permanent leave right now from the ballroom industry, right? Are they going to return or not? There are so many questions at this time that it's really hard to answer.
It's quite early to really
Yeah, we still have 10 months, maybe less.
But we think based on, let's say, what's going to happen in the studios, that for sure it will take a while before we'll go back to the same traffic in the studios. I think the same will reflect what's going to happen with the competitions. Less people in the studios, less people in the competition. So unfortunately, we think that some competitions actually might even either change the owners or maybe even be completely removed from the calendar because it's a lot of them and less students will obviously be participating. So that might slowly kind of change a little bit until we'll build that back to what it used to be. But so we think for sure that most likely this coming year, if we're going to run it, is going to be one ballroom.
Because it costs so much more to have 2 ballroom. Double panel of the judges. We have 21 judges on one day event. So some multi-day events don't have that amount of judges. Then we have everything double the DJ, double the MC, everything is double. So we have to think logically. There we have so many expenses with the hotels. People don't understand what organizer goes through. We see those posts that, we spent all this money and the organizer makes money. The organizer needs a minimum of 2,000 entries per day to make it.
Yep.
Because to break it even. Because we all have to, the best person, it's the owner of the hotel probably, because we need to provide hundreds of nights depending on the event. We have to spend so much money on food and beverage. And after that, there's all the costs of the floor, of the lights, of the music, of the judges. And the judges don't even make a great money on it, right? But with the amount and with the costs of the transportation, they're often not in our case.
So the judges cost a lot, but they don't make a lot of money.
Yes,
right.
But so it's a lot of other things. So we kind of have to see where we will be next year, basically.